Hello and good evening. We have ourselves a game here where a student was playing black and was winning the game, but then gave it away and then fought and had a big tussle where it was a back and forth game, but finally won it. So it's going to be a dramatic game. Let's be ready for that. And just step through the moves. Let's talk about this move for a second. B5. B5 is uh, what to make of it. It's committal. Uh, but it also has a weakness, right? It gets a tempo against the bishop, but it has a weakness. Can you stop messaging? Okay. Okay. Uh, the weakness is that the c5 pawn break is less powerful to execute now. What you might have is more like this kind of stuff, which is not really a pawn break. It's more like a spider bind, right? Like a hedgehog type structure. So it's good for defense, but it's not good for offense. You can't break the game open as easily now. So key point to note. But on the other hand, I'm not saying it's that bad. It's just important to know what you're getting and what you're losing as a consequence. I think this is all fairly fine. And this is a lovely time to drop that in. So your space advantage is definitely playing off for you in this game to get a you can never underestimate a space advantage, especially in the low rated games. Space advantage is huge. Now, bishop here, clearly, you want to be able to just castle quickly and do all that stuff. Knight here, irrelevant. In fact, you want the knight to guard against this guy coming in. And he needed to do that instead of this donkey move. This is a nothing move. Nothing move. It's like it's boxing his bishop in. It's staying in prison forever, just trying to hold this defensive structure. Two defensive players. Uh, Finally doing something. And black going kind of enigmatic here. And white just ignoring it. It's like, yeah, okay. So black takes a pawn, and now what? Now what does he do? Does he try to be Mr. Maestro? Or does he just play it solid and safe? The move that comes to my mind is queen here, and then trying to mate him somehow. Yeah, maybe check from the queen here. So king goes in and then check this way, uh, or capture with the knight, something like that. Yeah, I think check this way. That forces him to basically capture it with the rook, and then you win the rook. And then you might have the mate right at the back there. But that was not played. That was not played. So that was a clear, simple idea. You got to think simple. Think simple. It's not so complicated. Hey, it's very important to think how to check him quickly. How to check him quickly. And the pawns add long-term pressure. Right now, you've got all the firepower in the world blasting at him. There's got to be a quick finish. There's just no two ways about it mathematically. All his pieces are doing nothing. You've just got to come in and finish the job. But going for the pawn idea, I get it. It makes sense. But you have to think more differently. Anyway, let's actually see that queen recommendation line better. Yes. Well, he suggests to play it more safe and solid and eventually consolidate it. But yeah, Similar. Okay, but much of the motifs still apply. And here, why wouldn't you kill that knight? Why wouldn't you kill that knight now? It's free knight with a pawn. I mean, not free knight, but you get a pawn, and you're then threatening a huge mate. So this, you should never let a knight just hang around like that. Why would you let him hang around like that? Queen and bishop, they don't work so well together in this situation. You see, the bishop blocks the queen. Queen wants to get there, but the bishop's in the way. So what you want is a chance to dilute, to exchange your bishop so that the queen can now look at the mating square. So big idea there to keep in mind. This looks lovely, you know, a lot of pressure. What a bind that king is in, right? It looks amazing. Um, this is a key blunder here now. Let's see. Let's see. It's a tough position. I guess the main idea is bishop here, pawn up to kind of get things rollicking and rolling. Let's just see how the computer would play it. Yeah, pawn up, probably the right choice, but maybe a few preparatory moves first. Um, yeah, okay. Now here, I really think White should have just captured there, though, right? Why wouldn't he capture there now? He, I mean, this is a bold move. I think this is a really, of course, you have to do it to defend the bishop, but here, capture now makes a lot of sense. Um, castling. Castling kingside. Okay, castling queenside was fraught with danger because of this. So I think it was correct to not castle there. Castling kingside, however, why? Why even bother with castling at the moment? You don't need to bother about it. Just, or do you? Computer really likes this queen shuffle, but I don't see the finish with that. Yeah, wow. Anyhow, castling seems to be okay, and now what? Do you just have to sack the bishop there? Or because I don't think there's any way to really meaningfully invade the position. Currently, it's kind of blocked off. So it's difficult to find the killer blow here. Even though you're ahead, computer thinks you're miles ahead, but it's not so straightforward. And let's see, I think this is sensible. This is a bit non-committal, it's sensible. This is nice, it's patient. I like that, very good. Patient moves, good. Just gradually improving bit by bit. Queen trade, okay. Well, I guess you don't lose then. And the king gets so active, that's really good. Very active king, that's amazing to see. Really active king, this is great play. But you still got to find the killer blow here. So let's see, how is it going to go? That's, I don't know what that move's all about. Is trying to break here or what? Yeah. Okay. Okay, buddy, we are back on blues. No, that looks super scary. Super scary, right? You can't just capture there. What? What am I missing? Okay, but you still open up the position either way. Either way, you're winning. Either you win, you win. Big blunder. Big blunder here. So this, a lot of hard work, a lot of strategy going into the move, but and a lot of patience. The patient king walk all the way to the top and everything happening one little move at a time. Great play, but then he forgets about the key thing here. Forgets about the key thing here. You still got to hold that tension. Got to hold that tension, man. Chess is a nasty game. Not a perfect way to play it, and keeping extra rooks on the board. Now here, computer really thinks he should trade off the rooks, and I think that makes sense because you probably have white probably has a winning position. Yeah, white probably has a winning position because he gets to the pawn first. Let's just see the line because it's instructive. You've got to get better at endgames and seeing the little tactic, which will be the rook check that comes in here, that forces you to be able to take another rook check and win that rook and get your king to the square a little bit faster, but it's still not fast enough. So what's going to end up happening is it's really messy. From this point on, it's not so straightforward, right? Computer says this is a winning position for white, but it's not that clear. You wouldn't know it without really calculating it and understanding it. So what do I see as the reason why it's a winning position is the what's going to happen is king here, and then you probably have a chance to sacrifice a pawn and then shift this one ahead and try to queen that. And should this pawn ever go ahead the second time, you can always move the king back in time to stop it. So I think that's what's going on here. We should actually check that out, check the theory out a bit. So in fact, yeah, white says you should do it right away. Don't even bother with the king up. Just go straight away c4. And if he captures, then it should be pretty clear. And by the rule of the square, you know, we have 5 squares here, 5 squares here. If black cannot enter into the square, which is right over here, if black cannot make his move to enter into anywhere here, he loses the game. And that's the position here. So very instructive. You see this endgame, very instructive, and a key criteria which you got to be able to think through when deciding whether to capture rooks or not. On this hand, the opponent did not capture the rook, so that gave the student a chance. Black had a chance here. Not perfect play there because it's now falling into the same pattern once again, essentially. Or is there a subtle difference? Isn't it the same? It's the same pattern. It's the exact same pattern. Oh, I don't understand this chess, man. I don't understand these boys. These boys are playing something from a different dimension. This is something from a different dimension, man. Like, what is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. That's what's going on. That's what's going on here. Neither side knows what the fuck they're doing. So they're just moving the pieces around and stuff is happening. It makes for great entertainment. I'll give you that. It makes for great entertainment, but it's telling. So the pawn push forward, I think, you know, the main reason it's a problem is it makes it easy for black to get for white to get a good square here. He doesn't take advantage of it, but I guess it's not the end of the world. This is counterintuitive. I would have thought that king here is correct, but it is counterintuitive because of the mating pattern. Shit. Coming in here, you're very possibly running into this kind of thing where you can get mated all of a sudden. So Sheesh. This is such a crazy game, man. So he think you should check him and then come here. And now it's a drawn game because you wow. Sorry. I don't know what I'm saying, man. Okay. Yeah, you're saying white can win the game here. Like this. White can win the game easy, obviously. Yeah. But instead it went like this and it's now back into a drawn setting. The pawn is ever so close to the finish line, however. And the white king just abandons him. The white king just abandoned him. And you took with check. That's extra stylish, bro. That's extra stylish. Why? Oh, is it because of you think he can do perpetual on you? He can't do perpetual on you unless you come in here. Then he can check you endlessly this way. Maybe. Even then not, because you can get the rook in the way at some point. But if he checks you from here, you can just run up there anyway. So no need for these fancy dramatics and gymnastics. It could backfire. That was a nice finish. Almost a nice finish. And it's a nice finish finally, but it's a good finish. Yeah. I mean, in many ways it's instructive. The rook sack, sure, I can criticize it all I want, right? Easy for me to say if I'm sitting from the armchair, but in many ways it's instructive because it shows and it indicates the confidence that the student has in being able to finish the job from here. And follow the technique, you'll see that he doesn't let off on the checks. He just keeps the check pressure going. That's the way to finish him off. Keep the check pressure going in such a situation. All right, thank you for watching.